Boy, what an afternoon in Teaneck. We have people yelling at us just for being here, and the police have to take over. We've got people talking about taxes. And by the way, this is off topic, but if you ever think of following a single dollar bill, okay, and follow it in the tax trail, you pay the dollar bill to somebody else, it's taxed. They pay what's left to somebody else, that's taxed. The little bit that's left after that is then taxed. That dollar bill in 2 or 3 transactions, maybe 4, is gone. It is gone, but that's not what I came here to talk to you about. What we saw here happen a few minutes ago when Larry Brayko was speaking is kind of typical of what gun owners face in this state. Absolute demonization. Those people who think that they are tolerant are only tolerant of people who have the same ideas that they do, and they're absolutely intolerant of anybody that they disagree with. How many of you are NRA members, just out of curiosity? Okay, how many of you are ANJRPC members? Okay, a few of you, NJ2AS? Okay, excellent, excellent. All right, so look, here is what's going on right now, because the future of the Second Amendment is going to come, in New Jersey, is going to come down to the next 30 days, 2 weeks to 30 days in this state. Okay, what's going on nationally is going on in the state of New Jersey, and you have to wonder what these people are thinking. Since January, they've introduced more than 76 pieces of anti-gun legislation, and there's no sign of stopping. Now, that's especially poignant in the Garden State, where gun rights basically have been reduced to hardly anything, okay? This is basically a gun banner's dream, this state, okay? Let me just summarize for all of you how New Jersey gun law works. Everything about guns is banned. Banned. Ownership, possession, transportation, transport, transfer, usage, except where the government allows it. Okay? So there's these general ban and then these little teeny tiny exceptions. Now imagine for a second if you did that with the First Amendment. All free speech is banned except where the government allows it. Does that make any sense? I don't think so. So you got to wonder what these people are thinking when they say, well, that's not enough. We need 76 more pieces of legislation. And the answer is what Larry Brayko said before. He's absolutely right when he says, this isn't about safety. This isn't about stopping a madman, because none of these bills would do that. This is about law-abiding citizens and taking away what is left of the Second Amendment in New Jersey. And let me tell you something, this is one of the toughest places to be a gun owner. And because of that, we have to stand and fight harder than before. Okay, now just to give you an idea of some of the little gems that are being proposed in Trenton right now, and I should say, of those 76 bills, 20 of them were jammed through by the Assembly in February. Now they moved to the Senate, and I don't know if you saw the press release the Senate Democrats put out on Friday, but they've laid bare their agenda, and it's not pretty, okay? Some of the bills that are coming up are insane, like if you want to keep your guns, you've got to have a home inspection and a psychological evaluation. Presumes that you're crazy until you're proven sane. How about the magazine capacity reductions, okay? And this is one of the questions I get most often is, you know, why does anybody need what I would call a standard capacity magazine? They call it a high capacity magazine. Why does anybody need that? Well, the answer is really pretty simple. It's for the same reason that members of law enforcement do. You might face multiple assailants. Home invasions happen, okay? Criminals travel in packs. And do I really want to have my hands tied behind my back by the state when somebody breaks into my home in the middle of the night with 30-round magazines? So I have to fumble around in the dark to protect myself and my family? I don't think so. And something else, I don't know if you guys know this, but we all know when there's an emergency, okay? When seconds count, police are minutes away. They can't be everywhere, all right? And so if you dial 911 and the police take 2 hours to show up, or they never show up at all, the U.S. Supreme Court has held over and over and over again that you have no recourse. And that's because the police owe no duty to individual citizens. Their duty is owed to society as a whole. So the message is, in an emergency, you're on your own. So now look at this. On the one hand, the state is telling you you're on your own in an emergency, But now in that same emergency, we're going to tie a hand around your back when you are responsible to defend your life and limit your ability to do that. That is insane. That is insane. One of the latest things to crop up Friday is a bill that would, if you're a gun owner, would put that fact on your driver's license. Okay? Gee, do you think gun owners might be subject to harassment at police stops or anywhere else you show a driver's license? Look, here's the bottom line. These guys want to eliminate the Second Amendment completely. All right? And let's look at the big picture, okay? America protects freedom around the world. The Second Amendment protects freedom in America. And NRA and ANJRPC and NJ2AS and organizations like it protect the Second Amendment. There is a reason why these folks want that right obliterated, okay? Because as, you know, the famous cliche that the Second Amendment is the difference, firearms, the ability to own firearms is the difference between a subject and a citizen. You take that right away, and the one right that defends all others is gone. We can't let it happen, and we won't let it happen. And my final message to you is that what's going to happen in the next 2 weeks to 30 days, it's not somebody else that's going to stand and fight. It's all of us. Nobody's going to do it for us. So I'm going to say to you, if you're not an ANJRPC member or NJ2AS or NRA, join. If you don't subscribe to our email alerts, please subscribe to them immediately. You know, ANJRPC, we have our magazines here in a box by that table. Our email alerts are free, and we will tell you exactly what is going on and when we need to speak up and what our message needs to be over that time. The other thing is, so when we sound the alarm and say, please, contact your legislators, call, write, ring their phones off the hook, jam up their fax machines, and lastly, show up in Trenton. We need to show up in numbers. Let me tell you something. In February, we came out in numbers. How many of you were at that rally in February and at the legislative hearing? Okay, that hearing was a kangaroo court. And let me just say, the chair of that committee, for those of you who weren't there, actually said at one point, when they weren't taking testimony and they started voting, he actually said that, don't worry, we will take your testimony after we've finished voting. Okay, he actually said that. That's actually out there on YouTube. And we had to educate this committee in Civics 101. So coming up in Trenton, there's going to be one or more legislative hearings. There's going to be one or more rallies coming up. We need you to know about it. We need you to contact your legislators, and we need you to attend. The reason things have moved so slowly in the Senate is because we showed up in numbers in the Assembly. We now need to show up in massive numbers and let these people in Trenton know that they have awakened a sleeping giant. Right now, these guys think it is in their political interest to do this. We have to teach them a lesson they will never forget and show them otherwise. In any event, thank you. God bless. Thank you for being here. And let's save the